So here's my view, and I want to hear yours, which is that I did not own slaves, and you were not a slave.
Correct.
Right. So we are individuals, and therefore we cannot be held accountable or should receive something from something that didn't happen to us or something we did not do. That is a basic law of justice, that I can't be held accountable for something that somebody looked like me did, and you should not benefit from something that somebody you were related to. Now, you'll probably say systemic racism and how that passed down through generations. Happy to address that. The problem with reparations, though, is basically what you're saying is I'm going to take money from Charlie Kirk for something he didn't do and give it to a group of something, to somebody of something they also didn't do. For what reason? How is that just?
What's up, YouTube? Hope you guys are feeling good. Today, guys, we're back here with a new video. Today, we're going to be checking out Charlie Kirk destroy race-baiting students with facts and logic. According to Charlie kick, because he loves kicking ass, this is going to be amazing to watch. Let's check the video out together, guys. Poof.
Hey, my name's Blair. Just got a question for you here. How do you feel about the black community receiving reparations?
I'm against
Here we go again.
Okay. Well, why so?
Well, first of all, what is the black community? So, for example, do you mean like recent immigrants from Haiti or Nigeria?
I do not. No.
Okay, for sure. So you're meaning like ancestral descendants of slaves.
Correct.
That
Yes,
could
sir.
be proven with documentation.
Absolutely.
Right? Okay. So to be consistent, do you believe that other groups that have been mistreated in America should also receive reparations?
What are those other groups?
Well, they're not necessarily by America, but let's just take one. Jewish Americans, right?
Okay.
They almost got eliminated in the Holocaust. Should they receive reparations?
Not from us.
Okay, not from us.
Not
but-
from the United States, that is.
Okay. So here's my view, and I want to hear yours, which is that I did not own slaves, and you were not a slave.
Correct.
Right. So we are individuals, and therefore we cannot be held accountable or should receive something from something that didn't happen to us or something we did not do. That is a basic law of justice, that I can't be held accountable for something that somebody looked like me did, and you should not benefit from something that somebody you were related to. Now, you'll probably say systemic racism and how that passed down through generations. Happy to address that. The problem with reparations, though, is basically what you're saying is I'm going to take money from Charlie Kirk for something he didn't do and give it to a group of something, to somebody of something they also didn't do. For what reason? How is that just?
So not so much how is it just, but there are those arguments that says because of what happened in the past, this group of people have been negatively affected from this nation's crimes against humanity to that certain group of people. And that's how we see it, or how some people see it, if you will.
Okay, sure, but I will say that even if there is some truth to that, which I wouldn't even be willing to grant very much, because Black America was doing incredibly well before the not incredibly well, they were pacing to be even richer than white America, is that we must look through the question of, is it just and moral to take from one group, especially first and second generation immigrants that had nothing to do with this. So think about it. Your tax base would be taxing, like, if anyone here is Irish or Polish and your family came 100 years ago, we would be taxing people that had nothing to do with it. And I'll go a step further. My family fought on the Union side of the Civil War, right? So you're going to be taxing Charlie Kirk, whose descendants fought to free the slaves, to go give money to people that were descended, from slaves. So what is a way that we could try to help all communities? Here's maybe we can find some common ground, right?
I'm listening.
Instead of reparations.
Sure.
Is that we need to break the cartel of public sector teacher unions, allow school choice to occur, and make it easier for people of all backgrounds, but specifically Hispanic and Black individuals and young kids to have a quality education, because a good education in K through 12 is one of the most assured ways that they'll be able to succeed later in life. Secondly, we need to put fathers back in the home.
Yeah, I agree with that. Sure.
I agree with that, yeah. 70% of Black kids are raised without a stable father in this in the country. So if we can find common ground on that, I think that would go a lot further than just giving cash for people that happen to be related to something evil that happened a little while ago.
Mr. Simple, you've said some very nasty things about me online, so the floor is yours.
Thank you. Simple question, Simple Black Theory. What do you think about blind hiring? Are you for blind hiring?
No.
No. So why not? Because blind hiring, for those you don't know, is based on merit, where you don't
it's
look.
not.
So what's blind hiring?
Blind hiring would be that you do not put the race actually when you submit for, you don't even see the person when you interview them for a job.
No. That's one part of blind hiring. There's
Okay,
multiple ways to do blind hiring. But at the end of the day, blind hiring is exactly not knowing the person's race, age, or gender. That's based on merit. Like you said, you want merit, correct?
Well, hold on. Those things can factor into merit as well. For example, if I'm trying to hire for an Amazon warehouse worker and all of a sudden I find out that they're at 69 with 1 year left from retirement and the age is not disclosed, wouldn't I prefer to have a 24-year-old man than a 69-year-old woman who's overweight?
You're moving the goalposts. Let's bring it back here.
No,
the whole point was about blind hiring.
No,
right?
you just
That's
said
exactly what it's talking
race,
about.
sex, and age
Right.
is not incorporated.
Correct.
I think you should have a full picture of a human being is when you hire them.
So you care about diversity.
No, actually, I don't.
Why? Because that's basically merit. You're focusing solely on merit. You said you want meritocracy.
Just to be clear, if diversity happens naturally through meritocracy, great. If all of a sudden we have
That's
people
DEI.
that, well, no, it's not. DEI is by force.
So let me
DEI
explain that.
No.
Go ahead.
I got to interject.
Go ahead.
DEI is that we are going to forcibly make an institution more colorful.
Right.
We're going to forcibly make an institution more black. Where if all of a sudden, if half of Texas A&M was black because it was all on merit, praise God, that's an amazing thing. It doesn't matter. If all of a sudden, for example, if the NBA is 75% black because it's on merit, great. Terrific. If the NFL is half black because on merit, we don't want to force race. We want excellence and meritocracy over race in every possible circumstance.
Right, yeah, my turn. Okay. So let's get into the NBA, for instance, right? Can we both agree at one point black people weren't allowed into the NBA? And then they allowed them to be in NBA. Wouldn't that be considered diversity? Wouldn't that be DEI in itself?
No. It's actually the opposite. You see, you're
How
mistaken,
so?
my friend. It's actually, we're getting rid of any racial stereotyping. What happened was actually a form. No, DEI is racial stereotyping.
So
what actually was before was a form of white preference DEI, which is white supremacy or whatever. And then we got rid of it. We said, we're not going to discriminate it. And the quality of play got better. Do you guys see the difference between the two? You see, it's very important. Well, no, actually, I'm talking to both you and the crowd, right? I'm talking to both, right? So what ended up, what you want is you actually want to bring back a form of how Major League Baseball and the NBA used to work before we desegregated.
So we can agree that Executive Order 11246 is what basically brought in DEI, correct?
I think that might be it. Is that the affirmative action one? I don't know.
No, it's not the affirmative action. It's for DEI. So within that executive order, where does it say that they're solely focused on making people get into jobs? For instance, like United Airlines, right? You mentioned that, well, let's pause that. I'm going to get to here. So for an example of DEI is basically your daughter, right? She decides to get a job, right? And unfortunately, it's that time of the month. She goes into the bathroom. Calm down. She goes into the bathroom. Stop. She's going into the bathroom.
You're losing the audience, man.
I don't care. I'm talking to you. So she goes into the bathroom, right? And she goes into the bathroom and gets a tampon or a pad that's been given from the job. That is DEI. That is literally, yes. Yeah. You don't know. That's great. So if you don't know, DEI, interrupt me so you can win. Go ahead. You want to do that, right? Or be quiet and we can talk. Thank you. So, right. Can I continue? Thank you. So, my thing is dead. All right, so, yes, because in Executive Order 11246, they say that DEI is focusing on a safer environment and a more equitable environment within the workplace and the hiring process. Let's look at Google. Google actually does DEI. You know how they did DEI? Give me an example of, do you know Google's DEI? I'm pretty sure you don't.
And they shouldn't, of course not.
What is their DEI initiative?
I actually don't know the specifics because I don't know every company's specifics.
I got
However, let me ask you a question. When you're hiring somebody, would you rather hire someone that's black or someone that there is excellent?
So that's what we're talking about. That's not what DEI is.
You want to gaslight
Actually, it is. So let me prove it to you.
gaslight
As
it.
I said, according to the Student for Fair Admission Supreme Court case, black students were able to get into Harvard with
That is affirmative action, not DEI.
Affirmative action.
Struck down.
Time out.
You're
Time
bringing
out.
old
Time out. Time out. You're getting too worked up here, man. Okay. Time out. Affirmative action is DEI in practice. You see, DEI is a theory.
Wasn't it struck down by Supreme Court?
Yes, and they still ignore
so
it.
why are you bringing it up?
Because they're still ignoring it, my friend.
So let's focus on my question I asked you.
But hold on. Let's
Go
get back to the core macro tenet, which I think is very important.
Correct.
Which is, wouldn't you prefer a country built on excellence and merit,
That is
not
what
one
DEI does.
based on forced pigmentation diversity? Why does somebody's skin color matter? No, tell me, what differences do you as a black man and me as a white man have, and why does it matter?
Okay, so
Why does it matter?
So let's look at, because again, you don't understand what DEI is, and you're trying to put it in one stance, which is not. So back to this question. So an executive order, and correct me if I'm wrong, you don't know executive order 11246, correct? So
I mean, I have an idea of what President Trump signed, correct? But because he got rid of that executive order.
Right. And in that executive order, it says, literally, y'all can Google it too. It says that DEI focuses on both the workplace and hiring.
Oh,
now,
got it. So does it
now
focus
let
on
me
diversity?
explain. Now let me explain the
Does
DEI
it have the word
initiative.
diversity?
Yes, but
We should not have any forced diversity, period. End of story.
It's not forced diversity. It does not say forced diversity,
What
and
does it
I'll
say?
put money on that too.
But does it say diversity?
It says diversity, yes.
Well, then it's forced
but it's
diversity.
not forced diversity.
Then what is it? It's a suggestion?
So, correct me if I'm wrong. Tell me if I'm lying. Does it say forced diversity in the executive order?
But it has the word diversity.
Does it say forced diversity
Okay,
in
but
executive
wait,
order?
hold on. Let me get this straight. Executive order with the word diversity.
Can I give you an
Would
example
that
of
not
DI
be
initiative
forced
then?
diversity?
Let me give you an example of DI initiative so you
okay.
have a better understanding. So let's look at Google, right? Google's one of the hardest companies to actually get into. In fact, I believe it's a 0.2% chance that you actually get the job, right? They actually run a DI initiative. Their DI initiative is called a hiring committee, where they have a diverse group of people that
Terrible
have been
idea.
working.
Awful.
How? So you're telling me Google sucks?
Google actually
sucks.
is honestly.
So y'all using
honestly,
Bing. Y'all using Bing.
honestly,
Y'all using
ChatGPT's
Bing.
way better than
Stop.
Google recently. I don't know about you guys. No, but honestly, to your point though, Google has lost its competitive edge in a lot of ways the last
How?
10 years. Hold on a second. Again, Google does a lot right, but hold on. Google has lost the social media war. Google tried to launch a Facebook competitor, an Instagram competitor, failed. They tried to also launch a Zoom
Let's
and a Skype
focus on the
competitor.
conversation.
Failed.
That has no proof that
Google's
that was
market
DI.
cap,
You're-
Google's market cap, otherwise known as Alphabet, has actually missed expectations over the last 2 years versus Netflix, Amazon, and Apple and Microsoft. In fact, there was a prediction 10 years ago that Google would be the first $3 trillion company.
Right.
Turns out that it was actually Microsoft that was the first $3
Right.
trillion company.
Right,
Now, of
right,
course, Alphabet is a
right.
very good company in a lot of different ways. But if your argument right now is like, well, because one of the biggest companies on the planet has embraced a bad idea, what is your argument exactly?
They're still one of the best companies in the
Not
world.
because of that, because they
What do
were
you-
built by
look,
merit,
you just
and
said-
it's being destroyed by
Exactly.
diversity.
And they use DEI
And-
to get that merit.
and-
Listen, if they're hiring people, yes, it makes sense. If you're doing a hiring process and you have a hiring committee that is DEI and they're hiring the people that's making the company as great as we just said, and
hasn't,
your
though,
argument,
but
your argument is
the
that
point
DEI
is that
takes away merit.
it does.
But if we see that Google is doing well and they're using DEI, how the hell are you
Time
saying
out.
that DEI is not making merit?
First of all, Google
guy's
has not
going
had this
crazy.
hiring committee around since its inception.
They have. Not since its inception, but they had
Okay.
it for a while. And
Secondly-
the people in the committee are
Secondly-
people who's been there for a while,
Secondly,
which is very diverse.
Secondly, you have not answered this fundamental question, though.
Go ahead.
Which is, can you tell me when an organization gets forcibly more diverse, it gets better?
Google.
Again, I just proved to you, Google is
Google.
Why
Okay.
I just gave you Google.
Again,
They use DEI. Not only are they one of the best companies. Oh yeah. I hate that argument. Great.
I mean, again, it's just, they're fine. I'm not going to like totally kind of crap on Google. But like more importantly and more broadly, I do think you have to answer the question.
So
why,
I can't-
Why does skin color matter at all in hiring? Answer that question. Why
Great.
does skin color matter?
So if we look at basketball, because you love talking about that, right? Can we both agree that at one point there was no black athletes, and then what happened? They diversified.
We got rid of forced segregation, which is a form of DEI.
And that diversified the basketball,
because
right?
it was based on merit.
Was it diversified?
Yes, but not by
Thank
force.
you
No, hold on a second.
very much.
Hold on, but if your argument is that if you want to make things more merit-based, then let's do it.
It is more
No,
merit-based.
hold on a
They
second.
made it diversifying. They diversified
Man.
basketball, bringing black people who are good in it.
Nothing you're
making
saying.
it diverse.
Nothing you're saying is making any sense.
Okay, I bet.
Because what they did.
Of course
is
you don't.
The NBA went to pure merit, pure excellence. Are you good at this? That's all they cared about. In the
They
NBA
allowed black people in, right?
Exactly, because prior.
Okay, then.
Hold on. Because you know what they had prior was a form of racial stereotyping. And you want more racial stereotyping. Your worldview is indecipherable from the KKK.
So
what you want, it's indecipherable because you are race obsessed. I am not race obsessed.
No, you
You
are,
talk about the
though.
race.
You
talk
are,
about race
though.
more than the Grand Wizard of
Right.
the KKK.
Right.
Because
I'm
you.
the Grand Wizard of the KKK.
Well, think about it.
Right. Yeah,
No,
yeah.
I said your
Yeah.
worldview. Think about it.
Yeah.
Because you're around talking about race all the time. I'm talking about character. Which of
You
us?
talk about race all the time. You literally said DEI is based on race when it's not.
because
It's
I'm
DIA
explaining- I'm
with accessibility.
Man, you're getting
meaning-
really upset.
My bad,
You
you're
should
right,
take a
because you keep
pause.
lying. For instance, right? I've been trying to say this. DEI, one part of DEI is literally giving women tampons or pads at work.
Swinging this back
Oh,
again.
yeah, you're laughing because you don't know that.
Giving
Listen,
women
Charlie-
tampons is a form of DEI.
Yes, it is. You know why? Let me
makes
explain.
sense.
Let me explain. Yeah, y'all know. I got you. I'm about to explain to you guys. So basically what happens is, the reason why we have DEI is the fact that in a job location, right, they want to hire more people of diverse. So what these initiatives, these goals, these aspirations that they're doing is trying to bring more people in. For instance, like if, what's that store? Trader Joe's, right? They let people sit down while they bring stuff in. They help disability. That's DEI. That helps disabled people get a job at Trader Joe's. But what you're telling me is that we are not allowed to tell people that for like onboarding. Onboarding in itself is also DEI. When they explain to you sexual harassment, when they do all these things, when they make it more a safer place, that is DEI. And what you're saying is that the workplace shouldn't be safe. What you're saying is that more companies should
none of
have
these
discrimination lawsuits.
Let's get back
That's
to
what DEI
let's
stops.
get back
Discrimination lawsuits.
DEI is racial quotas. End of story.
Give me one racial quota.
United
Give me one.
Airlines.
I Googled that.
So
go
yeah.
ahead.
Oh,
I
you
Googled it.
Okay, great.
Yes.
So
So go ahead, continue.
This guy's
what
crazy.
what did United Airlines announce? Because you know what I said about black pilots. What did they announce when it came to pilots?
So-
and why should skin color matter when you board an airplane?
So just to remind everybody, it's Charlie Kirk's idea. He basically, stop talking. So Charlie Kirk basically,
Ooh, that's very massage.
right,
That's
right.
not very
I'm
DEI
cooking.
of you.
all right, let me finish cooking. So, right,
You ain't cooking, bro.
so can I finish? So Charlie Kirk said that they're basically hiring women of color to make 40 or 50%, right? But when you actually look into it, what happens is
Women and people of color.
right, women and people of color. What happens is they're creating a program that's allowing women to train to become pilots. If you actually look at the requirements for these programs, it's nothing different than any other program that trains pilots. But you told people that they're just hiring women when that's not true.
First
They
of all,
go
I
to-
never said that.
Yes, you
Secondly-
did. I did a video on it, guy.
Yes, I know what I said. Secondly, when you hire based on race and not on excellence, you end up compromising the standards
you
of
mean?
excellence.
They're not hiring based
Allow
on
me
race,
to
though.
finish without interrupting
All
you.
right, go ahead,
When you
Lai.
hire based on race and not on excellence, you end up compromising excellence to be able to pursue race. We know this with Harvard, University of California. We know this with major companies. We
Affirmative
know this
action
with the
again.
government. Exactly.
Always bringing that
DEI, that is affirmative action is DEI
Which
philosophy
has been
in
struck down
practice.
already. You're bringing OG has been
Allow
struck
me
down.
to finish
That's
my
crazy.
statement.
Go
They
ahead.
are actively defying the Supreme Court decision, or they are contorting their policies to try to fit their own DEI agenda. But let me ask you a question. If you were to board a United
Wait,
Airlines,
I ain't get the finish. Go ahead.
if you were to board a flight with United Airlines, would you rather have a pilot that is qualified or one that is diverse? Answer
So
the
wait,
question.
that makes no sense. Why is there two different things? How is it different? When you go to American Airlines,
Because in the pursuit of diversity,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
sacrifice excellence every time. We know this with Harvard.
Right.
We know this with Yale.
So I got a
We know
question.
this with the military.
Right.
Every time,
Right.
every
Right.
example that we pursue diversity, an institution becomes less excellent.
so
it becomes subpar.
when you go on a plane, do you go to the pilot and ask for their credentials, or do you believe that the airline did the right thing
No.
and hired the right? So you ask
No,
for
I
their
don't.
credentials.
Actually,
you don't.
I'm starting
you don't.
to.
So
well, hold on. I
for
start
some
to doubt
reason,
it.
we
That
can
was
have
my
both
statement.
diversity and
That
merit
was my
things.
statement. My
Right.
statement was when you're going to if you're going to go from 4% of the pilots being black to 50% of the pilots to be black, it begs
Right.
the question: you are going to lower the standards.
So my
you are
question
going
is-
to you're going to put a square peg through a round hole. You are going to force something that naturally is not happening, and you will all of a sudden be playing a very treacherous and dangerous game when you board a plane. When I get heart surgery or if I board a plane, I don't care about the color of the skin of
Thank
the
you,
person
facts,
doing it.
right,
I
yeah.
want excellence and I want meritocracy.
That is it. Excellent.
Yes. So stop talking. Are you talking? So right, let's get back to because you're talking a lot.
Final point, then I'll get to the next
Final-
question.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay, so again, going back to what you said, because like I said earlier ago, you said, and I forgot this is ISU, you basically said that that women are being hired to become pilots, right? Now, first, that's a lie. That's based on a program. Second, correct me if I'm wrong. Becoming a pilot is based on skill, correct? It's not based on height. It's It's not based on physicality. It's based on nothing. It's based on skill, meaning
Not
that
always.
if you're being, so what is it based on?
Because based on a now public lawsuit with the Department of Transportation in 2016, 2017, air traffic controllers and pilot standards were lowered in pursuit of
Not
diversity
true. I
goals.
looked at that too.
Because of over
They
15.
added more
Let me
shit.
finish. Because of 15 whistleblowers that said the standard of air traffic controllers and pilots were being sacrificed in the pursuit of diversity,
lying
equity,
again.
and inclusion.
You're lying again.
Okay, I mean, people can do their own independent research, and they
I've
also.
done it, and you're lying. They
okay.
actually made it harder. They add more scenarios within the FAA.
Again, everybody
you
here
can Google
can
it. Google it right now.
Yeah. Okay.
Go ahead.
Again, the documents bear out exactly. We now have.
Yeah, I'm looking at it.
We have air
Max,
traffic
Max.
controllers after air
Max.
traffic controllers have said, in the pursuit of making air traffic controlling more diverse, we have then lowered the quality of air traffic controlling.
So at the end of all this, what you basically told me is that if merit matters, it doesn't matter, because when we mentioned blind hiring, you said you're against that, which is based on merit.
No, time out. They said that they want to prioritize a group above what is meritocratic.
That didn't say that.
That's what United
If you
Airlines
want,
said. They said
I'm
half.
so confident.
They
Read
said
the
half.
executive order out loud
talking about United
right
Airlines. We're
now
not talking about the
in front of
executive order.
everybody.
Again, they
All right,
said
yeah,
half
next.
of all their
You got
new
Cook.
hires.
You got Cook.
Again,
Hey, thank you.
we have clarity, and the clarity is very simple. We want a country based on content and merit. He wants a retribalization of America. Thank you.
Okay. Hi, Charlie. How are you? Good.
Why is it sounding like that?
Okay, so I'm gonna give a little bit of a backstory on myself. I'm Jaden Clark. I'm a student here. Freshman year, I was hate crime 5 times in one night. Okay, 3 of them by Trump supporters.
What happened to you?
Okay, for one of them, I was just walking, and then I see this truck full of 4 white men pass by me, MAGA apparel, everything, you know. And then,
Did they say this is MAGA country?
anyways, they drove past me, and they were like, "F you, nigger, bend over, quick."
Okay, so they said the N-word on campus to you.
Well, yes.
Oh, yeah? Okay, so what happened to them when you reported them?
I didn't report them.
Oh, really? Okay, so maybe it didn't happen.
Okay, anyways.
I don't believe you. I'm being honest, I don't believe you. I think
Okay,
you're making
me
it up.
Okay. Anyways.
I refuse to believe that somebody on this campus would go around and sheepishly call you the N-word. I refuse to believe that. I think you're lying.
Anyways, next instance, they threatened to rape me and then just drove off.
Hold on, so a bunch of Trump guys who are largely white heterosexual males then also threatened to rape you?
Different group of people, but yes.
All in one night?
All in one night, sir.
I think you're
Makes
making
no
this
sense.
Okay, that's
It makes
fine.
no sense.
But what
anyways,
evidence do you have for this? Do you have like corroborating witnesses? Do you have cameras? Do you have license plate numbers? Because now we're talking about crimes. Threatening to rape you is an intent of a crime. Did you go to the police? You file a police report? You hire an attorney? You sue the school? Did you go to the civil rights office? Do you file a civil rights complaint? Did you do any of that? Because you should.
Okay.
No, did you? Tell me. Yes or no?
I did not, but
Why?
I'm not going to argue with you.
No, but
on
you're
my
coming in front of
experiences.
2,000 people to say it. Why did you
Right.
not go to the university and say this happened?
He's
Okay,
lying.
because how would I report them?
Anyone, there's
would I
hotlines all
report?
over this campus. You guys have nothing but like, if something happens to you, I think you're making this up. I think you're doing this to try to make a point.
Okay.
I don't
well,
think there's any evidence.
I can promise you, God as my witness, I am not. Anyways.
No, but seriously, why don't you today commit? Let's do this. I'm going to show you the university official, and why don't you go file a Department of Education complaint, and let's find these terrible people that did this to you. Can we agree?
Okay.
Okay.
I'll think
and
about
by the
that.
way, we'll be able to look
would
at
think
security
about
camera
that.
footage, and we'll see.
Okay, I'll think about that.
But you didn't do that.
Can I try
though.
to finish?
You'll think
I'm
about
gonna-
it. Hold on. Why wouldn't you want to do that immediately?
Can I talk?
It's crazy.
No, but you're making a serious accusation. Please,
And I'm not gonna argue with you about my personal experiences. Anyways.
it didn't happen, man.
Okay, that's cool. Anyways, I feel like every time I step foot on this campus, I have a wall of vitriol and hate at my back. And to the audience, I say to you, these are your fathers, these are your siblings, and these are your neighbors. So y'all need to clock them. And I hate overgeneralizing, but I'm not gonna say all Trump supporters are racist, but a good amount. Anyways, my question to you,
This guy's
to
crazy.
you is, if you had one message to say to these people with the hate in their hearts, what would you tell them?
I would tell you to stop lying.
What would you tell them? Not to me.
No, honestly,
People.
I think you're Jussie Smollett at this campus. I think you're completely making this whole thing up.
Make an entire thing
I think you
up.
are a complete liar because I am now giving you an opportunity to report this at the high. I will bring this to Linda McMahon, the head of the Department of Education, the federal government. I will make sure these people are arrested by Kash Patel, the head of the FBI. And you'll say, oh, I'll think about it. Because you're making this up.
No.
You're doing this for a political purpose. So will you, no, seriously, Kash Patel will get involved. Yes? It's a hate crime. That's not acceptable. Well, hold on. No, will you do this or not?
That's really cute, Charlie, but I'm trying to give you the opportunity to alleviate hate within this
Did
group
you
of
want to
people
say
who
it?
have a
No,
shared
no.
ideology.
But hold on a second. There's no hate. There's just love of America here in this audience. That's all that's here today, okay? That's all that's here. But back to you. I heard your accusation. I'm now going to go to the University of Tennessee and tweet this and say, hey, this is a serious accusation. I want the governor to get involved, by the way.
Okay.
The governor's getting involved. I'm going to call Marsha Blackburn. I'm now going to call Big Haggerty. I know all these people, and we're going to find out really quickly if you're telling the truth or not, because you just came in front of 2,000 people, and we're going to go bring in the police. We'll bring in the FBI, because what you just said is unacceptable. You said Trump supporters called you the N-word. That is no place in America, and they threatened to rape you. That is no place in America. But you know what else is no place in America? Lying and saying it happened to you. So we'll find out really quick if you're telling the truth or not.
That's cool,
Yeah.
but like, can you answer my question though? If you,
My message to everyone in the audience, keep loving America.
okay.
Simple.
But
What about loving
no,
your neighbor?
just so you know, this is going to become a very big issue. We're going to put this on social media because nowhere in America should you be allowed to go in front of a microphone with no evidence, no willingness to report, no
witness.
likelihood to talk to police and say, oh, this happened to be at night, and ruin the reputation of half the country and say that they wanted to go me and call me the N-word. That is gross.
Okay. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. You'll be hearing from a lot of institutions, and if you did indeed lie, you will be civilly liable for smearing this university publicly for a very big number. We'll find out if you're telling the truth. Thank you.
Thank
It's
you.
lying.
That's
It's
really
obvious.
cute. Make sure you at me.
It's
Jaden.
obvious.
I will.
lying.
Thank you. Hope you have a good lawyer. Thank you.
Hope you have a good lawyer.
And I want you to understand the
answer.
implications of this. No one has had the stones to stand up to this stuff for years past. And so many innocent people have been drugged into this crap saying that all the white people are coming after me. I don't believe it. It's wrong, and we're putting an end to it.
Yeah.
You got an anti-DEI shirt on, so this is about to get good. I personally believe in DEI. I think that actually helps with creating inclusivity within PWIs and predominantly white institutions.
I would say DEI stands for didn't earn it, but that's a separate issue.
Ooh, didn't earn it. You been working on that? Type shit. So yes, a lot of people think that.
Yeah, so I don't know what DEI looks like on this campus.
Type
Yeah, so I can't speak to that. Do you think people should be hired based on their race or their competency?
I don't think that. I think they should be race.
Which one?
My fault.
Yeah.
Sorry. My fault. I think that they should be hired based off their competency, not their race.
We totally agree, right?
Okay.
So what DEI does in practice, not in theory, is it focuses on race more than competency. And
Okay.
that is our concern.
Okay.
And so what I want, and you seem, very passionate about a lot of things, and you obviously have skills. For your life, I want you always to be judged on the content of your character, not the color of your skin. Where DEI says, no, we're actually going to care more about skin color than competency.
Mm-hmm.
And so what we want is an America based on merit, America based on how hard you work, an America based on what you bring to the table, not just what you look like.
If you had a son or a daughter and they came out to you and they said, Charlie, I'm gay, or Charlie, I'm trans, what would be your course of action in that? Like, would you still support them?
If they came out as trans, I'd say, no, honey, you're a girl, or no, my son, you're a boy. I don't affirm delusions. You do not affirm what is harmful or what is not true. And you
Thank
must
you.
find the underlying issue as to why this is happening. 75% of minors that are trans are girls. 75%. Largely found because of social contagions of young ladies that are on the autism spectrum that most times are having puberty anxiety and are being bullied or feel self-conscious for changes that are happening to their body. What we are told is that we must stop puberty, that puberty is the problem. In reality, 99% of the time, puberty is the solution to a lot of these trans issues.
Yes.
That you allow puberty to work its course, all of a sudden, the girl becomes a woman, and she feels a lot more at home and safe at how she is and comfortable how she is. That's the worst time to have psychological interventions at that time. Young women have always been more prone to social contagions. And transgenderism is a social contagion. A 5,000% increase in transgenderism is not normal. It wasn't like within everybody, is an external force upon our nation's youth.
This was very interesting to watch. Okay, let's start from the first guy. The first guy who came here and started talking bullshit about reparation. It makes no sense. Whenever people come out and talk about reparation, I'll be like, damn it, here we go again. Like, why in the world do you want reparation? You were never a slave. You were never enslaved. You are living in the greatest country in the entire world, America. You were never a slave. Even if your forefathers were actually slaves, they were enslaved, but you were never a slave. You might be a descendant of slave, but you're not actually a slave. There's a difference. You don't expect people, taxpayers' money, to be given to reparation, towards reparation. You guys deserve the money. For what? It makes no sense. If you ask me, that makes no sense. Because, number one, that is a victim mentality. I call that the victim mentality. People who feel like they're being oppressed because our ancient fathers were actually oppressed. So they are passing that mentality into their own self. That they are the one that are the victim. They are the one that has been oppressed. They have always been treated poorly in America. Whereas you are not being treated poorly. There is no difference between you and Charlie. There's no difference. That victim mentality makes people stagnant. It makes people not to go ahead of where they are. I keep on saying this naturally all my videos about this reparation bullshit, this DEI bullshit. Every single time I'm understanding that people who are waiting for reparation, some people up to now, they're still waiting for reparation. They are still feeling like one day there will be a reparation for what your ancient fathers did, which makes no sense. You don't want to live your own life. You are waiting for reparation from your ancient fathers. So America will give you reparation, taxpayers' money. They will give it to you because your forefathers were actually enslaved. Do you know if my own forefathers also fight for this freedom? Let's say, for instance, now Charlie's forefathers fought for America so that this racism of a thing will stop. So do you expect Charlie now from his own taxpayer money to bring out money for reparation? It makes no sense. It makes no sense. Absolutely no sense. It's a goddamn bullshit mentality. There's this second guy who was talking about DEI, tampons is part of DEI. Is just blabbing. He's looking for attention. Like people like this are people who want attention, who feels that they're doing the right thing, whereas they're saying goddamn bullshit every single time. This guy is just saying crap. He's just saying crap. His entire statement is just bullshit because he makes no sense. He was just making a fool of himself. Bringing Charlie's daughter into the conversation, at first, I was like, nah, that is bad. Talking about tampons, DEI being tampons, it makes no sense. This black man right here with the dread, he will not want to be flown or flew. He will not want someone who is underqualified to perform surgery on him. The same person who is speaking, who feels like he's speaking for the entire black people, he will not want someone who is underqualified as a pilot to fly an aircraft, whereas he's inside. What Charlie's talking about is that you don't cut the line just because of your skin color. You don't cut the line. Affirmative action and DEI, they're twin, they're brothers. Like, they're together. Do you understand? They're together. Even if you take off affirmative action, that DEI too and affirmative action, they speak hand in hand. Do you understand? You don't cut that line because of your skin color. Companies don't cut that line because they want it to be more diverse. No, it should not be done like that. You hire people based on their merits, based on their credential, based on how good they are, based on their scores, based on how efficient they will be in your business, not because of your skin color. You hire people in because they are able to push the company or the business forward because they are credible. Basketball hired people because basketball brought in people because of their skill, because of their strengths, because of their height. Do you understand? Because of their skill, they are really good at it, not because of skin color. If you check stats, majority of black people are very good in sports. We are athletic in nature. Like black people are very athletic. They're very, very good in literally all the sports worldwide. They're very, very good at it. It's not a myth. It's not a lie. It's the plain truth. So you don't bring that into this conversation. Do you understand? You don't talk about because they are removing black people. At first, they were actually having a lot of white people playing basketball. But I tend to see that black people are really good at this game. Football, long tennis, basketball, javelin, any sports entirely, guys, black people dominate. They are extremely good. It's like they have that strength. They have that skill. They have that, I don't know, it's just like a gift. Do you understand? Majority of black people are very, very good. I'm not saying white people are not good at it, but when it comes to sports, black people always dominate. Every single time. But the guy right here is just talking bullshit. Just trying to like shame Charlie and make it look like Charlie is just lying to the audience. His entire, how many millions? Probably 10 million people that view him online, and also 2,000 or 3,000 people who came there to listen to him. He's just lying to them. Whereas what Charlie is saying is the truth. And the issue black people are having every single time is this lack of fathers in the home. This is what it results to every single time. Someone acting very, very, I don't know how I'm calling it. I just don't want to insult him. Then this other guy with the, I am my ancestors' wildest dream. He was lying. Like, I've never seen someone who lied like this guy before. He is goddamn lying. He's lying. It's obvious he's lying. Charlie said he's going to bring your case to the FBI and you want to report to the school authorities. You say you would think about it. They called you the N-word. They also attempted to rape you, and you say you would think about it. The number one biggest mistake is you saying you do not report to the authorities. You do not carry it to the police. You didn't report to the police. You kept quiet. You are lying. That is a very, very dangerous accusation this black man just made. He's acting like he's a victim. You see this victim mentality? This pisses me off about black people every single time. They keep on playing this game. They think they're smart, but they're dumb. Because you can't keep on playing this victim mentality that you're oppressed. See the stupid statement he told Charlie to tell the audience. Very stupid statement. It's feeling like the victim. This white people, the entire white people are all racist. MAGA are racist. Which makes no sense. You came to the mic and lie about you being raped and then calling you the N-word. And you have the guts to say literally almost everybody in this audience are all racist. This is an issue in America. Like people who are partially mad already. They're just walking the streets of America. They're actually mad. Because he's talking like a crazy man. Came to the mic to lie. Millions of people have seen this video. And you are lying. So you feel like you are spreading the news that racism is happening. People who in college are actually racist. In his mind right now, he's a saint. Following, he fell down. There's a saint. For him, in his mind, he's a saint. I love how Charlie handled him, dismantled him, shattered his entire lie, exposed him for who he really is, because he's a goddamn big liar. He's a liar. Then the next guy who was talking about DEI bullshit is actually the same thing. These guys come in with the victim mentality every single time. You guys come in with the victim mentality feeling like you're the one oppressed. You are not goddamn oppressed. You're not oppressed. You're not oppressed. Your forefathers, maybe, they might be oppressed. They were actually oppressed during that era, which is bad. I do not console racism in any way. And what happened during my ancestral period, my forefathers, when they were being enslaved, carried out from Africa outside to US, UK, it was bad. It was terrible. I felt pain when I watched this story, when I read the books. It's very, very painful to listen to. But at the same time, you don't claim that victimhood, that you are the one who is oppressed. You're the one who is, they're taking years away from your life, whereas you're just starting life. No, that's bullshit. The last guy talked about if Charlie has a child who's a gay, we accept it. You say the truth. It's either white or it's black. You choose the right path. Is it right or wrong? It's as simple as that. If my child come and tell me, I'm a gay. I choose to be a gay. I want to be a transgender. I want to be a man now, and I can see she's a woman. I'll tell you, you were born as a woman. It's as simple as that. I will tell you the right path. If you choose to go the wrong path, that is your life. Do you understand? But as a father, I will not condone to bullshit. I will not condone to lie. I will not condone just because I want my child to feel good. I will lie to him or her. No. I'll tell you exactly as it is. You are being brainwashed. And that brainwash is coming from somewhere, probably your school or your friends you are hanging around with. Those are the people who are filling your head with bullshit. Do you understand? The entire video was actually beautiful to watch. I was actually getting upset because the victim game these guys are playing, which is pissing me off. But it's okay. It's okay. This video was actually interesting to watch. I enjoyed the entire conversation. Comment down below what you think about this video. Give us a thumbs up, share this video as many as can. Subscribe to our channel, guys, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Make sure you stay safe.